I'm the person in the room. If there's somebody I don't know, I'm going to go say, hey, I'm Tracey. Who are you? Tell me about yourself. Because I believe strangers are just friends I haven't met yet.
What's up, guys? Lift and Love. Lift and Love here. Where did you pull this question from? Why is that? Lift Love. Crochet. We out. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Lifting Love podcast. You are awesome. Today's episode is brought to you by Lake Hickory Pub Marina, where lake and life meet. If you haven't done so, go follow Lake Hickory Pub Marina. They're gracious enough to allow us to host our podcast here. They've been amazing. So make sure you go check it out. And also, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button because 75% of you are not subscribed. Hit that button. Anyway, today, that's enough about me. That's enough about Live and Love. We have an amazing guest. Somebody who lights up the room, has never met a stranger like myself. And you could tell when she's in the room because the volume just creeps up just the same thing with me. We're very similar in the same aspects. It is the mentoring program coordinator for the Council on Adolescents. It's Miss Tracey Paul. How are you?
Thank you so much, Lenny. I am good. That's the best introduction I've ever had. I appreciate that very much. And yes, we immediately gravitated toward one another, didn't we?
100%. I think there's something special about people who, like us, are loud.
Yes.
Who light the room up and take attention.
Yes.
Because attention's such a key piece of what we do, right? Because just like myself, where I'm trying to get the word out about my business, you're trying to get the word out about the Council on Adolescents and all that you do. Absolutely. So when you have that big personality that people just genuinely gravitate towards, it must make finding people and asking for volunteers such a breeze.
It is a challenge at times, but yes, people say I know everybody in Catawba County. I don't know if I know everybody in Catawba County, but I know a lot of people, and I love getting to know new people. So I'm the person in the room. If there's somebody I don't know, I'm going to go say, hey, I'm Tracey. Who are you? Tell me about yourself. Because I believe strangers are just friends I haven't met yet. And that's not original, but to quote someone else. But yes, trying to recruit volunteers for the Lunch Buddy Mentoring program at the Council on Adolescents can be challenging at times. Sometimes it easily falls into my lap. And, when I first started this job, I was like, why would anybody not want to mentor a middle schooler that needs an additional positive role model in their life? But I quickly found that middle schoolers are not everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah.
I understand that. I love teenagers. Therefore, I love being at the Council on Adolescents.
100%.
But, everybody has different gifts, different talents, different interests. And so as I'm out and about trying to recruit the volunteers, if I have to talk somebody into doing it, or if they're like every week, the same student, the whole school year, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, maybe this is not their volunteer opportunity, and that's okay. Thankfully, there are lots of people that do want to do it versus 100%. Those that don't.
It's kind of funny. I think in middle school is kind of where the attitude I have now comes in, which is very similar to you, where it was like, I was that loner kid who sat by himself, like, I don't want anybody to feel that way. No. That's kind of why I am how I am, where I can just go and talk to anybody and everybody. And it's just like, you have to get that moldable, adaptable personality because, like you said, not everybody is going to be able to help you in specifically what you're looking for. Not everybody's going to be able to advance the Council on Adolescents, but that 2 or 3 people who, like, you go to a Friday morning brew and they actually follow up and they actually become a lunch buddy. They actually, whatever the case is, they advance the mission of Council on Adolescents. You could talk 100%. To 1,000 people. You get those 2, 3, 4. They make a difference.
And yes, we don't want anybody to be that kid sitting alone at the lunchroom. And so our program focuses on at-risk youth, and we don't like at-risk because in being a teenager, at-risk enough. I mean, we all remember growing up, it was easy for some of us, it was hard for some of us, but most of us don't want to do it again. Once was enough. And so, trying, our goal is to serve 80 students in all three school systems. So we work with Hickory City, Newton Conover, and Catawba County, all the middle schools. The thing is, we're going into some elementary schools because Catawba County middle schools are only 7th and 8th grade, and the city schools start in 6th grade. So we've been trying to add in the 6th graders at the county schools. The point being, there are a lot of schools, there are a lot of middle schoolers, there are a lot of kids that don't have that support at home, that don't have that one-on-one interaction, that don't have that person that shows up for them, that they can count on, that is there for them. And that can make all the difference in the world. I know it can be a little intimidating to befriend a middle schooler, but we ask people to go every week because lunch is a whopping 25 minutes long. So by the time you get there, you start talking, the bell rings and it's time to go.
Yeah.
So if you go once a week, every week during the school year, start to slowly but surely develop a relationship, because a middle schooler will either not talk at all or not stop talking. And at first, you've got to develop that relationship.
100%.
And it's on from there. So it is a challenging, rewarding, wonderful job.
So now we're going to talk about the Council on Adolescents.
Sure.
I want to talk about you real quick.
Okay.
For the people who may not know who you are, let's start with who are you and what do you do?
So we're talking about the Council on Adolescents because that's where I currently am and what I'm currently doing. But I'll start at the beginning. I was born in Virginia, so in South Central Virginia. So not a northern girl. I was very close to the North Carolina border. So I am a Southern girl, born and bred. You can probably tell from my accent. So I was from South Boston, Virginia, which is close to the Tidewater area of Virginia. It's near Danville, Virginia. If you keep going, I used to vacation at Virginia Beach. But I moved in the summer of the 10th grade to Eastern North Carolina. Okay. So back to Virginia to North Carolina. So first of all, I hated my parents, was going to live with my grandmother. You know, they were ruining my life because my dad's job was moving us to another state, to another place. You know, I was a typical teenager. How could you do this to me? So where I moved from in Virginia, we said oat and house and a boat. And instead of South Boston, it's actually called South Boston. So I'm a 10th grade girl moving to Eastern North Carolina near Greenville, North Carolina. Around here, a lot of people know Greenville, South Carolina, but Greenville, North Carolina, Eastern North Carolina. And I quickly learned to say out and house and about because people were like, where are you from? Then I moved to Western North Carolina and everybody's saying light and night and Mike. And I'm like, what are y'all saying? Because I say light and night and Mike. Yeah. But my accent's all over the place. I've had people ask me if I'm from Texas. I don't know. I guess from the Virginia accent to the Eastern North Carolina accent to the Western North Carolina accent. And I lived in Charlotte in between. Met my husband at Chapel Hill. I'm a Carolina girl. I'm a Tar Heel. We got to have a dog in that fight in North Carolina. We like our basketball. So
100%.
Definitely and he's from Charlotte. So got married, moved to Charlotte, woke up in a church bigger than the town I moved from. So the town in Virginia I was from was 500 people. The town I moved to in Eastern North Carolina was 2,500 people. The church I went to in Charlotte had 2,000 people.
Oh my God.
So I told my husband I loved him dearly and I didn't think I was a country mouse, but I knew I wasn't a city mouse. So we quickly moved to Davidson.
Okay.
And that was the suburbs of Charlotte. My husband's in banking and has been for 40 years. So he commuted to Charlotte for banking. And I got the job at Catawba County Public Health. I worked at the health department in Hickory for 30 years. So the Council on Adolescents is my retirement job. I'm now 6 years into my retirement job. What?
Hold on. We're gonna air quote that retirement. So you worked at public health?
Public health for 30 years. I was, my degree was in health education.
Wow.
And so when I lived in Charlotte, I got the job in Hickory. We moved to Davidson. I commuted to Hickory. David commuted to Charlotte. And then we both moved here and he started working in banking here and has since ended up back in Charlotte. His banking career is as interesting as my public health, now nonprofit career. But we chose Catawba County.
Really?
We chose Catawba County. Have 2 kids. My son son Wesley's 27 in the Hickory area doing content creation and similar things. And my daughter Devin is 31, just got married last year and lives in Rutherfordton, also known as Ruffton.
It just depends on, like, I think the one thing I learned out here, because I'm a Yankee, the one thing I learned out here is there is different accents in different counties.
There
So just how you were talking, like you're South Virginia, Eastern North Carolina, Western North Carolina, that you kind of have like a jumbo of all of it. Like,
I do.
You could go here and like there is a Burke County language.
There is.
Catawba County language. Caldwell, Alexander. Everyone who's in different areas, they kind of speak a little different. Some speak faster, some speak slower. Some you're like,
what did you say?
Say that one more time for me, because I genuinely did not hear it. Or the words are just completely all merged together, and you're just like, yeah.
I didn't understand. Well,
Yeah,
and I am a Southern girl, and I do have an accent, but I do usually talk fast. So I talk loud, I talk a lot, and I talk fast. That's usually my trademark. So old people love it when I talk at church or in a presentation because they can always hear me. Got in trouble for being too loud my whole life. And I decided God doesn't make mistakes, and he made me loud for a reason. So I'm loud and proud. And even if it does hurt my feelings sometimes because I get in trouble for being too loud, and I don't mean to be rude. I don't mean to be disrespectful. I just get excited. I'm loud when I'm not excited, and I'm passionate, and I get louder, and people are like, whoa. And I'm like, sorry.
it's never I'm the same way. You should never feel bad about it. Never. It was such a hard thing for me when I was younger, because I also got in trouble a lot. But I was just like, you know what? This is who I am. If you don't like me, don't talk to me.
Quiet people don't get in trouble, though, Lenny, because they don't bring attention to themselves.
100%.
We get in trouble because, we're not going to sneak in. You're going to know we're there.
100%.
So,
and I have, the worst part about me is I also have that New York energy.
So I was going to ask,
well.
where are you from? New York?
Long Island. I was born and raised on
Long Island.
Long Island.
Have a niece was in Brooklyn, now is in Manhattan, trying to make it on Broadway. And I just spent I don't mind telling if you don't mind me telling, my 60th birthday in February in New York City.
Wait,
having
hold on.
the time of my life.
Hold on, you're only 25? That's crazy.
Remember I told you I retired after 30 years?
You retired after 30 years old.
Yes. I am also very proud to be 60, because some people don't make it to 60.
Yeah.
And I hope I make it 60 more years, which will be another accomplishment in life. But I loved the city, and they were so welcoming, and they celebrated, and they bought me drinks, and they sang me happy birthday. And I was like, I love the city.
I think for me, I have such I have such a pessimistic mindset when it comes to New York City.
Okay.
It might just be because I was born on the island. That's how, like, some people out here view Charlotte, and they're like, ugh. I'm like that with New York City, because I literally lived,
right there.
Without traffic, 50 minutes from the city.
Okay.
Because I was way on the east end of the island.
Okay.
But people out here go, I'm going to Manhattan. I'm like, ugh.
We love New York. You're like, been there, done that, don't want to go back.
I mean, you can only see so many, homeless people on the street, or, syringes on the floor. It's just the attractions of New York City are nice. Statue of Liberty, World Trades. Oh my God, the World Trade.
So I'm the Broadway girl. I just want to go. I want to be independently wealthy and just go to a different Broadway show every day.
But that's one of the attractions about it. Times Square, Statue of Liberty. I don't know if you've ever been or have been to the World Trade Center Museum.
I have not.
Absolutely stunning. I used to be a firefighter. That's actually kind of how I came out here. But anyway, absolutely stunning. The attractions of New York City. Living there every day could not do it.
Yeah. No. I know my niece, she's trying to make it on Broadway, working jobs, doing her time. I mean, I respect and admire anybody. Yeah. And you're right. I only have the tourist perspective. I go to the nice part, visit, do the fun things, and leave. Yeah. And thankfully don't have anything bad to say about it. But
I mean, there's some really nice parts of New York. Like, again, the attraction side, even like Central Park. Like, if you're just looking to like stroll around and have a good time, you could do that. Yes. But I guess just living there and like that being one of the only things we could really do. Like, I come out here and I'm like, there's so many things to do. And people out here are like, what? There's nothing to do. I'm so bored. I'm like, I could do something different every night. I mean, we're at a pub and marina that has a mini golf course, that has a lake that you can rent a pontoon, you can swim, all this stuff. Like,
and right across is the Riverwalk. So, I mean, Hickory in the 30 30 plus years I've been in the area has grown by leaps and bounds. All of the city walk stuff, all of the walking trails. They are just really, really, really trying to make this a bedroom community to Charlotte, trying to get people to come here and stay here.
Yeah. And you actually beat me to my point. That was going to be one of my questions.
Yes.
No, you're good. You could host it, but you're really good at this. So were you in Hickory specifically, or you just been in Catawba County?
So I actually live in Newton, the Startown area, but not far. So Hickory, Newton, and Conover are all so close together.
Yeah, they're kind of one.
They are.
It's like one area.
It is. But my job at the health department was in Hickory. My job with the Council on Adolescents is in Hickory.
Yeah.
We're out and about in all of the county and the community. But Hickory, Newton's making strides. Yeah. Conover, Hickory. They really have come a long way in the past 30 plus years.
I was going to say, Hickory has downtown. They're doing all that construction. It's going to be absolutely stunning once it's complete.
Love all of that.
Just speaking on Hickory specifically, yes. How impactful is it to a community, in your opinion, as someone who's been here for as long as you have? Yeah, a while. We're not going to put years. You're going to put years on it. How important is it for a community like Hickory to invest in itself and to grow and to really try to attract people from outside of the city lines?
100%. It is super, super important. And one of the things that I've gotten to do more of at my nonprofit career has, I've been a chamber ambassador, gotten involved with the Chamber of Catawba County, and there is so much going on because they realize our community can thrive and grow, and people will want to come here or not. And I see it continuing to grow. I'm thinking like right off the bat with the Cranford brothers, all the things that they have brought into the area. The Lackeys are big in the community. We have a lot of local restaurants, as well as chains and things like that. Yeah. But businesses, the Hickory community, we're not too big, we're not too small, we're kind of just right. Yeah. So if you don't want a Charlotte or a New York, you could come here, but we're a little bit bigger, than some of the more rural counties or areas around Hickory and Catawba County. And people decide where they want to live and work and play and those kinds of things. And my job brought us here, but we liked the community. We stayed here. We had our children here. We're still living here, been in the same house for, if my son is 27, 26 years. That's awesome. So, you don't have family here. My family's not from here, but you make your family. You choose your friends, that kind of thing. And, but really like that I have the perspective of Eastern North Carolina to Western North Carolina, everything in between, a little bit of Virginia, love some South Carolina and the beach. That's another one of my faves.
And it's not too far away.
It's not.
That's the cool thing, I think.
The mountains or the beach.
I think that's the cool thing too, is that growing up, I had the ocean was
you were right
10 minutes from my house. Yeah, I lived on an island. Can't really go too far without hitting water in any direction. But 4 hours, 5 hours, you get to the beach. You're in the mountains in an hour.
Yes.
You have the lake here if you like fresh water.
It's beautiful.
You have a great base for everything that you really need. You don't really need that much more, but to see the investment in Hickory is absolutely incredible.
It is wonderful, and you don't have to go far. And like you said, you take for granted when you live in a place, you don't take advantage of what else here, but we truly do have everything. We have a lot to offer. There's great places to live, to work, to learn, to play, to do it all.
100%. And before we talk about counsel and adolescence, I'd love to talk a little bit about your family.
Okay.
I know how passionate and prideful you are with your family and how much joy it brings to you. Obviously, you said you have a son, daughter.
I do.
You're married. So what is, and I now have a 2-month-old.
I know, congratulations.
Thank you. What was one thing, because having a partner, you learn and you grow a lot.
100%.
But having a child
changes everything.
So what are some of the biggest things starting a family has taught you and raising a family has taught you?
I feel very fortunate that we chose to, we moved here as a married couple, but without children. So, we chose to raise our kids here, and we had great schools, great recreational opportunities. My son played all the sports. My daughter cheered and did dance. My husband's been in banking and has worked everywhere from Charlotte, to Newton, to Granite Falls, to Statesville, to Shelby, back to Charlotte. So he's kind of come full circle. My son is still in the Hickory area working in the content creation field. My daughter is, I think I mentioned earlier, in Rutherfordton. They're both kind of in social media, marketing, public relations. We're all shy and quiet and don't like to talk. She's at Isothermal Community College and got married last year, and that was fun with the wedding. It was so much fun. But my family means the world to me. They are my why. They are why I get up and go and do what I do every day. Want to make this world a better place for everybody, for everything. Want to lead by example. Want to be positive. Want to meet new people. Want to learn new things. Want to show them that they can be anything that they want to be and can do anything that they want to do. And I also have a little cat named Lily. She's white. She has green eyes. She's adorable. My son's cat is Daisy, so my cat's Lily. So if my daughter ever gets one, she gets a rose or some other kind of flower. But I like the four-legged animals too. Had a dog for 17 years. Gus was my Westie. I don't know if I'll ever have another dog. They're high maintenance. We loved him. He was a lot of work. Cats are a little more self-sufficient, so they seem to work for us.
Yeah, I think there's something, not to go off topic of family, but I mean, they are family.
Oh.
Like animals.
Yes.
Like when I was younger, we had animals, and like obviously I loved them, and it's so incredible how this non-human thing
can matter so much.
Just absorb all, you see him or her, and you're just looking, and you're just like, man, I love the absolute crap out of this animal right here. 100%. It's an unbelievable feeling. 100%. Right? It's so crazy.
Losing a pet is like losing a family member. 100%. Heaven forbid. The closest thing I've had is losing my mother almost 4 years ago in August. She was my favorite person. She was my most important person. I miss her every day. One good thing that came from that is my dad has become my person. Not that he wasn't, but I was just closer to my mom. And I talked to her every day. And the first thing I said when I lost her was, well, if I can't talk to mom every day, I have to talk to you every day. And he said, okay. So my 82-year-old father and I have developed a much closer relationship later in life. Wow. Only because when mom was there, it was just me and mom. You know, dad was there, but he's like letting us do our own thing. So it's kind of weird. That's been a hard life lesson.
Yeah. What do you think? We don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, but what do you think was something that you learned out of that experience? Because I feel like in every experience you have, whether it's positive or negative, unfortunately, you know, with stuff like that happens in life, it's a negative experience.
It is.
But what do you think you learned out of that happening?
That was a very life-changing, very hard time in my life. And I can talk about it now that it's been almost 4 years without crying. And sometimes I still have happy tears or sad 100%. Tears and memories. Yeah. But just thankful for the time I had with her, the lessons I learned, the memories that we made. That's my whole thing. Don't wait till tomorrow to tell somebody you love them. Don't wait till tomorrow to take the trip or go see the person. Call them, text them, email them, go see them, take the adventure. Because we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. So I believe in living each day to the fullest. No regrets. I've never regretted going and doing. I've often regretted, oh, well, I can, or I've got to do this, or I need to do that. And, you know, when that person that means so much to you is no longer there. So like I said, getting closer to my dad has been a great thing. And I do want to share, I'm not the biggest risk taker. I do like adventures, but my 82-year-old father and I went four-wheeling in West Virginia recently. Whoa. It was on his bucket list, and he asked me to go with him. And I did. Nobody told me that it was going to be like riding a roller coaster on dirt in a four-wheeler. We went straight down, straight up, straight. It scared me to death. Yeah. I think it scared him. We were supposed to be there for 3 days, and he has a group of friends. There were 30 of us, 16 four-wheelers, side-by-sides, the whole 9 yards. My 80-year-old daddy rode for 7 hours the first day. I was in the side-by-side with somebody else driving. Wow. I had a seatbelt, air conditioning, electric windows, which was still scary enough for me. But we woke up the next day and he said, I think I want to go home. And I said, let's go. So we checked that off the bucket list that wasn't even on my bucket list. Yeah. It was a great adventure. It was a little those trails it is not like riding the four-wheeler on the farm or in the backyard. It was something. And it's the Hatfields and McCoy's trail, and evidently it's a thing. And evidently, kudos to the people that like it and do it and enjoy it. Not me.
Thing. God, I love four-wheelers so much. I literally, I know. So my wife has a friend. They have a house up in like they're not in the mountains. They're in Caldwell, but like they have like
but heading to the mountains.
Yeah, it's like very hilly and stuff. So me and her husband, my wife's friend's husband, we connected, and he was like, "Man, I got extra four-wheeler. Let's go." And I was like, "Hell yeah!" So as I do it, I literally almost flip the bike. I come up. Literally, I do almost a full handstand. Like my legs kick up, my arms are like this, holding my.
That's too scary.
I hit a bump going really fast. I swear,
people flip and get hurt, and I mean it's fun, but it was just that. And evidently they didn't take us on the hardest trail. I'm like, thank God. I mean, because the trails they took us on were. I mean, I enjoy a peaceful ride, a little bit of hills,
a nice little.
But
But once you start climbing and doing all
and
this
once
crazy
you start
stuff,
flipping or doing handstands or nope, I'm out. I'm good. I'm done.
I swore I saw a little bit of light. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh, it's like, I was like, oh my god, oh, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, I thought I do not want to lose my 80-year-old father four-wheeling. This is not how he's supposed to go. So I've learned, Lenny, about myself. I'm not really scared of heights, but I have a fear of jumping off up high.
Yeah.
So I've been swimming at this rock quarry where you're way up in the air, cool park pool with the high dive. I'm the person that gets up there and is scared to jump. Is scared to come down. It is not that it's too high for me. It's the looking down and having to just free fall.
Yeah.
I will never jump out of a plane unless somebody's holding me at gunpoint. I mean, I know people, like to do stuff like that. So I like adventures, but
you don't.
And I'm not scared of heights. I just don't want anybody making me jump off things up high. That's not my favorite.
Yeah, it's something I've learned too. Like, and to go back to what you were saying about lessons, I feel like doing it now, right? You're talking about. I also feel like there's another side of that where it's like life is short. It goes by. Like you feel. How
can I be 60? I was just born yesterday.
Because like even me, like I'm 20. I just turned 27 last week.
Okay, you and my son.
Yeah, and it's something that I'm realizing, and maybe it's just because I have my first child, but it feels like there's so much time, but it goes by so fast.
I think having a child, it's not all about you anymore. And happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
When you have a child, there's something bigger than yourself. You care about them and their future and their well-being and their everything. It just kind of changes everything. And I'm sitting here talking to you, telling you I'm 60, that my kids are almost 30, that I've retired from one job and still working another job. It's crazy. It is crazy.
It's unbelievable because I swear, like, and I say this all the time, after high school, the minutes, the days, the weeks, the months have gone by 10 times faster. I literally just feel like I graduated last year, but I'm coming up on almost 10 years.
It's like,
which is crazy.
When you're younger and you want to be older, and then the older you get, the more time flies, and you want it to slow down, and you want to savor every moment. Having a child. I mean, their first words, their first steps, their first everything. I mean, and how does it happen so fast? But it does.
It flies by. I'm in a mentor program. Funny enough,
yay,
in Caldwell County.
Yes,
and one of the kids there was like, man, I can't wait to grow up. I was literally like,
do you know what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't think you know what I know. Or
We're always in a hurry until we get there.
100%.
And that's normal. That's normal. But yes, life, they say the older you get, the faster time flies or the faster time goes. And I believe that. It's going too fast for me.
Yeah, 100%. And I think maybe it's because I'm working a full-time job and I'm doing all my content stuff. I'm working with clients. I'm doing all this stuff. And I have a million other ideas I want to get done.
Living the dream and the struggle is real.
Yeah. But I think it's a funny part because, like, I always had this fire, this desire, this passion. But, man, it feels like since he's been born, it's kind of like before I would, like, 11:30, like, hey, I'll get it done tomorrow. Now it's like, it's 11:30. I'm like, man, I still got a bunch to do. I'm staying up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Get her done.
Like literally last night, I'm editing stuff. I was up till 2 o'clock. Like that wasn't me a year
Sleep
ago.
is important. It's not as important as when you're growing up. As adults, we all function sleep deprived, but balance. I mean, I have searched for balance my entire life, because when your professional life is good and your personal life is bad, or your personal life is good, your professional life is bad. And it's like, I teach in the classes that I'm teaching, the Healthy Youth classes for the Council on Adolescents. Life's not fair. If nobody's ever taught you that, unfortunately, it is a fact of life. But don't let it pass you by. Don't let it control you. Try to breathe and realize that you're doing the best you can, and it doesn't all have to be done today, and it doesn't have to all be perfect. I guess grace and forgiveness is a big part of my life. Yeah. My faith is very important to me. And thankfully, there's nothing we can say or do that we cannot be forgiven of. Doesn't mean that's an excuse to do bad things.
Just do whatever you want.
Yeah. but it does help you realize that we're all learning. If you're not making mistakes, you're not growing. You're not learning. And you got to learn from them. Doesn't mean keep making them, but it just means keep on the good fight, keep on keeping on, do the best you can. That's all we can do.
100%. And I would like to jump into the Council on Adolescents. So how did you did the health department?
Yes.
And obviously it seems like the way you talk about it sounds like you had an amazing career. What was that transition like going? Because I know retirement's a topic that does not get talked about a lot.
Yes.
It's this thing where you work for another company or agency and you build it up, and it's this grand thing. You put in your time, as
Correct.
they say, and all of a sudden,
your golden years.
Yeah, one day it's over. What was, before we get to Council on Adolescents and before we get to how you got that job,
sure,
what was that experience like? Because I think you're not really prepared for it, right? It's not like,
can you ever afford to retire? And my husband would say no. Of course, I'm talking to you already retired from one job, working another job. And I was very fortunate to be in the local county government system. So we do have a pension. And, I can remember starting and being the new kid, the young kid, thinking, these people have worked here for 30 years. Why? Why would anybody stay anywhere for 30 years? And I think with younger people, that's not happening like it did. I am, what is it, Gen X that comes after baby boomers? I was born in 1965. So I'm really not a boomer, but I'm really not whatever's next. I'm kind of in between with an identity crisis. Yeah. But people don't stay anywhere that long anymore. Oh, and that doesn't make it right or wrong or good or bad. It's just different. But if you had told me in 1987, I got married in 87. I started my job at the health department in 89. If you had told me in 2019 I would be retiring after 30 years, I would have laughed in your face. I would have been like, no way. I was blessed with my career in public health to work at a job I loved for 30 years doing different things. Health education, disease prevention, health promotion, talking to people, kind of like public relations for public health, letting people know who we are, where we are, what we do.
Oh, so it wasn't like a typical 9-to-5 desk job.
We were open 8 to 5, but I did nights, weekends, holidays, health fairs, go to churches, go to civic groups. I was the farmer's market manager. A lot of people don't know the health department has a farmer's market.
Whoa.
Worked in the WIC program, taught childbirth education classes, did a lot of things.
But what I'm getting at is you weren't just like sitting at a desk typing or writing up program. You were actually out presenting it, making sure people got the materials and understood that they have options and resources and stuff like that.
100%. And that's what I loved about my job. Yeah. And that's how I've met the people that I've met. And I know my way around the county like I know my way around the county, because I didn't stay within the 4 walls of the health department. I was out and about in the community saying, do y'all know who we are? Do y'all know where we are? Do you know what we do? Yeah. Please take advantage of the services that we offer if you need them.
And I do believe jobs like that incentivize you to stay longer for 100%. Sure, because you're not like at the job I'm at, it's like
different.
I'm only surrounded by these four walls and, this area of land that we have. I can't really branch out and go network how I want to and build business like I want to. With my business, it's different when I'm off and I do my thing. Like when I'm doing this, I have access to do other things. But when you're stuck, like you said, the four walls,
it would have been a long 30 years if I'd just been sitting there doing the same thing every day. I probably wouldn't have stayed. So I am
100%.
blessed. I am fortunate. My career afforded me many out and about opportunities, and that's what I loved about it.
Yeah.
So then I remember thinking that 30 years anywhere is long enough. And, but then I didn't know where I was going to go or what I was going to do because my kids are grown. One's married, one's not, but I don't have grandchildren. My husband still works yet. It's like, what am I going to do with myself? And people are like, you're not going to just retire and, twiddle your thumbs.
What was that like initial thought? Like you're like coming up to it. Are they like handing you packets and stuff? Like what's going through your mind?
So I didn't really plan it. I just remember thinking I've got my 30 years in. So what am I going to do next? Or what's going to happen? And then the mentoring program coordinator job at the Council on Adolescents became available.
No.
My favorite nonprofit that I volunteered for, near and dear to my heart when I was still at Public Health. We worked together professionally. Personally, I knew a lot of the people there, loved what their mission was, loved what they stood for, and thought if I ever retire or if I ever work anywhere else, maybe I could go work for them. Well, I guess it was divine intervention. Literally, I had my 30 years in. They had a position available. I interviewed. I got the job. And now I'm 6 years at the Council on Adolescents. So my retirement plan was not to retire.
Wait, so so let's say this position doesn't happen.
Yes.
What does that look like? Were you just going to stay there until you decided one day to be like, I don't want to work anymore?
I was probably going to just stay past my 30 years.
Wow.
But another opportunity presented itself. As I said, I thought 30 years anywhere is long enough. And I know people that stay longer, good for them. I just wanted, it's different. It was different enough, but similar enough.
Yeah.
It seemed like the next right step. And I truly believe in divine intervention because I wasn't looking. It just kind of happened. It just kind of landed in my lap. It was like, okay, God opens doors, he closes doors. I was like, okay, I think this is my sign that this is where I need to go next because I'm not totally ready to hang up my hat. And I joke with Jordan Ledford's our executive director. I don't have to work 8 to 5 Monday through Friday ever again. My mentoring program job has been 32 hours a week. So I retired 8 whole hours.
Which is a lot, coming 40, 50, 60 hours a week. Those 8 hours, it's life changing.
And I mean, we do still have nights, weekends, and other things where I work now. No job is just set hours. But I told her if I didn't have to be there at 8 a.m. every day, and if I didn't have to stay to 5 p.m. every day, we could talk, and we did. So it might be 9 to 4, but it's not 8 to 5, and that's really important to me for some reason. I don't know why.
I think it's incredible that you actually found the job that led, because I mean, most people, like you said, it's just, I have, I'm out 30 years, 35 years, 40 years, whatever. But to find the position that you already knew of, or you didn't know of the position, but you knew
correct
the
place,
organization. And then to just kind of go right into that. I mean, that must have been just an incredible feeling.
It was just meant to be. It was just the right time. It was just, like I said, and I think I mentioned my degree and job at Public Health and background is in health education. Well, at the Council on Adolescents, they also have health educators that go in and do healthy youth education. So we're doing puberty and other type of classes, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th grade in the schools. So the mentoring job was open, which I've been doing for the past 6 years. Well, now an opportunity is open for me to transition, stay at the council, but do 20 hours health education and 20 hours public relations.
Well, you're giving those 8 hours back. You're giving the 8 hours back.
I'm going in the wrong direction. So I went from 40 to 32, but the catch is I will be part-time in the summer because there's no school.
Whoa.
So 20 hours in the summer, 40 hours during the school year. So if you average it all out, it's still, about the same. But we are trying to fill the mentoring program position and making it a full-time position. So hopefully, 32 hours is almost 40 hours anyhow. And it was hard for me to not work more than 32 hours doing my job because you're constantly trying to recruit the volunteers, work with the school contacts to identify the students. We do parent engagement opportunities at the Crawdad Stadium, at the bowling alley, trying to involve parents and mentors and students and get everybody together, get everybody on the same page. So hopefully we're going to find that right person after me doing the job for 6 years to take over that job as I transition, hopefully June the 1st, into doing my new job of health educator and public relations. And I do love the council, and there is lots of fundraising involved with nonprofits and grant writing, and you got to raise the money to pay for your position.
100%.
So we can do the good things that we do for these teenagers.
I love that so much. And for someone watching who maybe doesn't
Yes.
know what the Council on Adolescence is, if you could just talk a little bit about it, and I'd love to dive into kind of just more about it.
Absolutely. The Council on Adolescence is a local nonprofit that serves teenagers. Our primary focus is on teen pregnancy prevention, but we also have a big focus on high school graduation. So we have the mentoring program that I've talked a little bit about that tries to pair volunteers with middle schoolers throughout the school year to be a positive role model for them. We have healthy youth education that goes in 5th or 6th grade through 9th grade, talking about growing up and changes and healthy relationships and good decision making. And then we have a couple of grant funded programs that focus on primary pregnancy prevention and secondary pregnancy prevention, which means primary is preventing teen pregnancy. Secondary is we work with the pregnant and parenting teen moms and dads, because sometimes it happens, trying to help them finish their education, get jobs, get daycare, and focus on not having a second teenage pregnancy. So, and then we have a distracted driving prevention program where we're the lead agency that works with others in the community. We go to a couple of high schools every year and do a simulation of a distracted driving event, a fatal distracted drive that you can, there can be fatal consequences of texting and driving and doing other things when you're supposed to be paying attention to the road.
Yeah. And I think one of the things, Jordan was on, the executive director. If you haven't checked out that episode, make sure you check it out.
Yes.
And I thought one of the coolest things about the Council on Adolescence was you guys are in so many different places.
Absolutely.
Like most organizations are where this is what we do, this is what we're fundraising for.
Right.
But you guys, it's like you're not just fundraising for teen pregnancy. You're not just fundraising for the healthy youth.
Yes.
Healthy youth. It's like there are 5 different avenues. 6. I think it's 5 or 6.
Yes. Five. So mentoring, the 2 state grants, distracted driving, and healthy youth.
Yeah. So 5 different avenues where you can help multiple different kids.
Well,
that's the awesome
trying
thing
to
about
meet
it.
teenagers where they are. They're in a lot of places doing a lot of things, growing up, changing. They're going through that adolescence, that teenage year that we're not little kids, we're not adults. Somebody help. They're Googling misinformation. Their friends are answering their questions wrong.
Yeah.
We want to be those professionals, those experts, giving them the right information. We welcome the parents to do that education and to partner with us and to support us with what we're doing, because it's weird for the science teacher to teach about puberty. So if we come in and do it.
They were lucky. I had a gym teacher teaching us about puberty.
Health and PE.
It's so weird, the difference, and like just who is actually giving that material makes such a difference.
It does.
Because
it does.
And I also think, as someone who ignored my parents a lot when I was younger.
Most teenagers do.
I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, if you're watching this. When you hear it from somebody else, your parents could be saying the same exact thing.
It's not the same.
You hear it from somebody else, and it's like,
yeah.
wow, that's a great idea. I haven't heard that one before. That's the kicker. I haven't heard that one before, and your mom or dad is over like, I've been telling you for 10 years.
100%. And I have always tried to practice what I preach, and you can ask my kids. Lord knows I was teaching them at home while I was teaching out and about for public health and the Council on Adolescence. We just want them to have trusted adults. Hopefully they have that parent, that guardian, somebody at home that they can go to and can give them the right answers. But we're very fortunate in this community that we have a wonderful partnership with all 3 school systems. And we are the people that go in and do that healthy youth education. So the kids don't have to feel awkward with their regular teacher, their PE teacher, their science teacher. They can do their jobs. We can come in and do our jobs.
And then I only have a couple more questions.
Yes.
I would love to really talk about the mentoring program because it seems like that's where you guys need the most help, right?
Yes.
It's hard to get people to come out. And granted, a lot of people have, jobs and all these different things, but you're talking about lunch period. 30 minutes. I think 35 minutes, I think, was my lunch period growing up.
Yeah, ours are 25 minutes.
Oh, I mean,
So,
yeah. I love how you said it. So you don't have 25 minutes a week? You don't have 25?
Yeah.
You have 25 minutes?
well, and I know you've been in a leads group with me where I'm like, okay, who likes to eat lunch? Well, who doesn't like to eat lunch? But then who wants to eat lunch once a week with the middle schooler? Then everybody's hands go down. And I mean, it's not a lunch hour. It's not a business lunch.
Yeah.
It is literally rushing into the school, meeting them hopefully in a room near the cafeteria, not in the middle of the cafeteria. So you can have a one-on-one relationship. You could have some privacy. You could have some conversation. There's conference rooms near the cafeteria, in the office. Different schools put mentors and students in different places, but where you can develop a relationship, where you can get to know each other, where they can have some privacy and some confidentiality to talk about growing up, to talk about life.
And I think it makes such a difference. So I moved schools when I was going into 11th grade.
Okay.
And we had a bit of it was a way smaller school than when I went to one of the biggest schools on Long Island. Up until 11th grade, I transferred, and it was like culture shock, completely different. Yeah, I mean, like probably more than a quarter of the kids that
So from really big to really small.
But it was super it was more focused on the actual academics. So like I think the most I had in the class was like 40. This new school was like 15.
Oh, wow.
So like very much condensed. So like I was able to have a more personal relationship with my teachers, with my classmates.
Well, you weren't just one in the crowd, or you just weren't lost in the crowd.
Yeah, and I think personally, that's where I bloomed. That's where I blossomed into the person who I am now, and I am so grateful for that because there was downtime for us to have that mentorship, that ability to be like, man, what are you struggling with? Like, what's going on? Like, it's
Let's
way
just talk.
more. Yeah, and even if it's not like that. It's like taking that escapism from what's actually going on. Because, I mean, I was blessed to have great parents and a great childhood, but there were kids that didn't have those things.
Absolutely.
So even just having that ability for someone who's in a position like that to escape is so huge. So 25 minutes, 30 minutes, however long it is, for a kid, that could mean the world of difference.
And you never know. I think what's also hard is it's hard to quantify qualitative things. Like, you may never know the impact you have on a child as a lunch buddy mentor, but something you said, something you did, just being there, just showing up every week, one day may make all the difference in the world to them. They may not be able to tell you that or show you that, but it does matter. It does make a difference. That's what's frustrating too, because some people want to, their students failing all their classes and then they're passing all their classes. Sometimes that does happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes their students getting in trouble every day and then sometimes they're not. Sometimes that does happen, but sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes it's just they just need somebody to. Bad attention's better than no attention. So sometimes just having somebody
100%.
Spending time with them makes a difference.
Yeah, 100%. And so real quick, for someone who wants to be a mentor, wants to volunteer, not even just in the mentorship program, but anything across the Council of Adolescents, because there is multiple ways to volunteer, not just the Lunch Buddy program. How can somebody get involved? What does that process look like?
Yes.
And what can they expect?
So we, and I can give you the information or you can include it on your website. We do have a website. You can include the information in the podcast is what I was trying to say. We do have a website. We do have a phone number. We do have, we do take interns. We work a lot with Lenore Ryan University. Volunteers, the main volunteers that we need are through the Lunch Buddy mentoring program because can't just anyone volunteer and go in and teach puberty classes. Does that make sense?
100%.
We can always use volunteers that like to help babysit with our teen moms and dads. Sometimes that scares some people off too. The Lunch Buddy mentoring program, everything is on our website. There is an application.
Yeah.
There is an orientation. There is a background check. So you can't just waltz in. School safety these days, that's a whole nother
sure.
topic.
Yeah.
You can't, we want the kids to be safe at school, and we want to make sure that we have volunteers that have been vetted, that are who they say they are, and there's nothing that we didn't know about when they're going in and meeting with these students. So there's a whole process. Our website is full of information about who we are, where we are, what we do, ways people can get involved. We're always fundraising. We're always grant writing. We always need people's support. And I know teenagers, we were all teenagers once. Thankfully, we survived. We don't want to do it again, and we forget about it. But we need donations. We need sponsors. We need support. And we do have a lot of that in our community. But there's always people that still don't know who we are or what we do. And we are always looking for ways to spread the word about the good things that we've got going on.
That's awesome. So last few questions for
Yes.
you. It seems like you've lived a lot of life. Right. Anything you regret? Like looking back, is there anything that you would do differently? Like what type of looking back now? What you know now, looking back, would you change anything?
I would say the things that I worried about then don't matter now. And I mentioned a little bit about balance and living in the moment and telling people you love them. Things that you think don't matter then really matter now the older you get. Your relationships, your friendships, your family. You stress a lot when you're younger, making your mark, getting your career off the ground, raising your family. You stress about things that in the long run really are a waste of time and energy. They really don't matter.
Yeah.
People matter. Things don't matter. Relationships matter. Not disagreements, not arguments. We all want to be loved. We all want to be valued. We all want to be appreciated. We have a lot more in common with each other than we don't. It's easy to disagree and to argue and to find things that we don't like. But there's so many more things. I just think we waste a lot of time and energy on the things that don't matter. That when we get older, we realize it's okay. Being 60 is very liberating. You just really don't care anymore. You do care what people think, but not like you did when you were 30.
Yeah.
You're just, you're older and people respect you, and you're supposed to have some wisdom and have learned some lessons along the way. You still make mistakes. You don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
But it's just a good thing to get older and to be able to share some life lessons with others and to tell people don't sweat the small stuff. And it's all small stuff.
Yeah.
The big things that matter are going to be okay in the long run. Show up, be there, be the best you that you can. That's all anybody can ask for.
That was a mic drop moment right there.
I don't stop and think about that stuff enough.
Like just genuinely, because like the second to last question before I ask our scripted question I was telling you about earlier. It seems like you have a really good, and this might have happened, when your mom passed. Your relationship with time. It seems like it's all going to work out in the end.
It is.
Don't sweat the small stuff, but balance. That word is so powerful because
So
I feel
hard.
so many. It's so hard.
So
Someone who is struggling, juggling a million things, it seems like a tsunami is coming at you.
It's overwhelming.
And it's like you're literally looking up and you're
drowning.
like, I gotta run, and it's above your head. It's like
harder,
all these different
faster,
things.
better.
Exactly.
And that's really not true.
Yeah. So like your relationship with time is something that like it just seems like it's there. Like you understand that like family stuff, like we're taking care of this. Like that you could separate it. I think that's a hard part for a lot of people.
And it's all smushed together. At first, it's all smushed together, and it does get easier as you get older. But time management, it's such a joke. We all get 24 hours a day. And do we manage time, or does time manage us? That's a good question. So when you're young and burning the midnight oil and birthing the babies and setting the careers, I mean, it's go, 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 go. But you can burn out. And I mean, balance is hard to achieve. Managing time is hard to achieve. Prioritizing is hard to do. But, the things that you get so upset about or focus so much on or worry so much about, stop and think about, is that going to matter in 5 minutes, in 5 hours, in 5 years? Help perspective, I think, is something that you get the older that you get. Because when you're younger, everything's important. Everything has to be done now. Everything has to be done now. And when you get older, it's like, if it doesn't, it's going to be okay. It's not the end of the world. Yeah. We are trying to manage something that's, if you don't manage your time will manage you. And so,
yeah, we're just getting quotes today.
And so if you don't make choices, so not making a choice is a choice. Choices will be made whether you make them or not. It's, are you going to be in control of them? Are you going to let them control you? And it took me a long time to learn that, and I may still not have that down pat. Yeah. But, not making a choice is a choice. Just avoiding to say or do something. So not deciding to do something is a decision.
Well, she was honestly just giving me that advice. No, it's so true. And the last thing, and again, I appreciate your time.
I've loved being here.
I appreciate everything that you do. I know this little card doesn't do it justice, but the Council on Adolescents and all you guys do is super impactful for the community. So keep doing the great
It is a labor of love. It was at Public Health. It is at the Council. We love teenagers. We want everybody to love teenagers like we do.
So for anyone watching this, and you kind of touched on a lot of great advice.
Yes.
The only part of our show where we ask everybody,
I love
for
it.
someone watching this right now, what is the best piece of advice that you can give them?
Oh, gosh. Okay. This is really corny, and this is what popped right in my brain. And I asked you, were you going to ask me certain questions, or were we just talking? And you said one question and we just talked. But the Don't Worry, Be Happy, I think just kind of sums it up. I loved that song. I still love that song. Try to, your perspective, balanced approach, trying to focus on what really matters, what matters to you, what matters in life. Try to be a good person, try to do the right things, try to learn from your mistakes. Nobody's got it all figured out. We're all muddling through this life together. Yeah. And the people that you think are the most together are just hiding it really well. Somebody told me back in the day, fake it till you make it. That's not bad advice. And we all think everybody else has got it all figured out and has it all together. No, they don't. No, we all have good days. We all have bad days. 100%. We all have it under control. We all lose it. And I guess my biggest takeaway or my biggest advice is give yourself grace and forgiveness to learn along the way, to learn from your mistakes, make mistakes, get messy, have fun, but learn from it and change and adapt and grow and just love people because they will love you back. Even the ones that don't, that's okay. We are given this one wild, wonderful life, and it's ours to make the most of, to waste it, to regret it, or to embrace it and be the best that you can be.
Well, that was incredible. One more time, thank you. Yes. Just thank you so much for being on.
I think I could talk to you all day. Thank you for having me. And it's my first podcast. He asked me, had I done this before? Woo! Thank you for what you do and being who you are.
Thank you. So again, one more time, Tracey Paul, the mentoring program coordinator for the Council on Adolescents. If you want to learn more about the Council on Adolescents and all that they do here in Catawba County, all the links are going to be in the description, the website, social media, all that stuff.
Yes.
So get involved.
Please.
Find out what they do. If there's a way you can fill a gap, if you can help out, if you can volunteer your time. And even if you can't volunteer your time, if maybe you can donate or have resources that can help them find donors, stuff like that, sponsors, anything helps, especially when you're a nonprofit. So make sure you go check them out. Make sure you go check them out. But again, one more time, our sponsor for today, Lake Hickory Pub Marina, where lake and life meet. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. But until next time, most importantly, lift love, crush hate. We out.